Okay, so it looks like you're interested in maybe getting started on Twitter, so I'm just going to go through as quickly as I can some of the tips and just quick ways to get started. So I have my login information right here. You can see if you're new to Twitter, you just simply sign here. It takes you just a few seconds, as a typical login will. No surprises there. So I'm going to sign in, and for the moment here, we'll pretend as if I am not following anyone. So maybe just, if you can, just kind of block out this and pretend that's not there. And the first steps, it'll actually take you through a little process on who to follow, and it'll ask you some questions about interests, things like that. But even if you weren't to look at that, one very easy way to do this would be, maybe you already know of someone that you might be interested in following, or you could do something as simple as, of course, going to Google or any search engine of your choice and type in educators to follow on Twitter. I just did this a little while ago. I went to who should I follow, Twitter for teachers, and I actually came across a Google Doc, a spreadsheet actually, that can be shared, and my internet's a little bit slow all of a sudden, but if you scroll down here, it says, I think, educators on Twitter. Yep, this will bring you to a Google document that actually is a list of, I know my screen's maybe a little bit small here, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so you can see. But here's a Google Doc, and it's over 1,700 teachers that are on here. And you can see it gives the basic information here, what grades they teach, maybe what department they're in, some principals here. You have all different sorts of teachers, a few bits of information about them, but right here is their Twitter ID. Now this might not be the best way to go about first, but again, this is just a collaborative document, just one example of very quickly an easy way to find some people. You could just sort this maybe by department, so you look at a content area you want to start following and just seeing if there's anything of interest there. So let's say, for instance, maybe I'm a science teacher and I want to follow BCD Tech. So we would just go back to Twitter, and then when we're on Twitter, I'm going to resize my screen here just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. If you go to the top of the screen in the search bar, CD Tech, I believe it was. And here you can see, once you look that up, you'll see the posts by this particular person, and then you will also see any posts that mention them, like this one right here, or a response to something that they've done. So if I want to see just their posts, I just simply click on their Twitter name, and over here you can see the number of tweets, the number of people following them, which is usually a pretty good testament that they probably have some interesting things to say, or they're just popular, one of the two. But one of the things I like to do before I follow someone, if I don't know much about them, I just click on their tweets, and here I can just simply look at what they've been saying. So you can kind of just scroll through this, and you can see how frequently they're on, and it looks like this particular person who I've never went to before is on very frequently, but you can see the different types of things that they're talking about. So that's a great way. Say, for example, we think, okay, this is someone I want to follow. It looks like they're saying some good things about science. I'm interested in that, or technology. So I just simply would click the follow button. As soon as I do that, it will tell me that I'm following that person. If I follow them for a while and I decide, no, this is not a person I want to follow, I just highlight that, or hover above that, and it'll click unfollow. Another good thing to do, if I do like this particular person, and I want to find out, I kind of like this train of thought, I like what she's saying, I go to her following list. Now this might not be the best example because she's following 1,100 people, but you'll very quickly see some things that are probably consistent, maybe. A chain of thought here, or a certain topic that might be appeal to you if it appeals to this person. So you can start to pick up on that. And if I see maybe one person, here's someone I used to follow actually, but I realized he posts an awful lot, so I don't follow him anymore, but you can see he's tweeted 46,000 times. But maybe I want to follow him, so I just simply, again, click on him. I get the information here. If I want to look at his tweets, I pull that up, and you can see he tweets very often. Every couple of minutes it seems like he's tweeting something, and a lot of good, as it says, Web 2.0 type ideas that he's often sharing with people. So I would just click follow. So now I'm following him again. If I'd said, it's a little too much right now, or not the type of information I want, then I unfollow. But you can see here a lot of technology base. He's talking about Google Plus, Live Binder, which is a great resource. If you haven't used that yet, I plan on having another little tutorial about that. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out, just a couple of more things if you're not familiar with Twitter and kind of how some of these posts work. One thing that you'll notice, if we go down, probably won't take us through, here we go, here's one. You'll notice that you'll see the pound sign a lot followed by some letters and or numbers. What this is called, if you're not familiar with Twitter, is a hashtag. And what a hashtag does is it basically funnels the conversation into this kind of content area, if you will, or discussion stream. So if I click on this hashtag, what that will do, it will bring up everyone that has included that sequence of letters and numbers that follow the pound sign in their post. So remember, you only have 140 characters. So if you're including these, that's because you want to be in this stream. So to be honest with you, I don't know what NLI 11 is, but if we look through, we can probably figure it out pretty quickly what it might relate to. There are a lot of hashtags out there that are education specific. One of the most basic ones that is used all the time is EduChat. So if I put that in with the hash tag or the pound sign, I will get, again, every post, and you'll see these very frequent, that someone has used the EduChat. And if I just actually, there's again all different kinds. EdChat is even more popular. I think I'll see more responses there. So EdChat, that's just people talking in general about education. And you'll see a lot of people that will use several hashtags because they're actually involved in several different discussions and they want their post to go to several different places. So this person's saying help PLN, so they're looking for people to respond from their personal learning network, and they put out a survey. And you'll see that a lot, people surveying, trying to gather information, people working on dissertations on here, trying to get more information. You can see just since I've been on this page, there's 13 new tweets. So again, these are coming up constantly. And you'll see often that people, again, are using more than one hashtag. So this person right here wanted to be in the EdChat, the general education, and then also EdTech, which is, again, another very popular hashtag conversation. So hashtags are something very popular, and again, another great way to find people that are interested in the same thing you are. So a way to find out more about hashtags is, again, what do? We go to Google to get our answers, just like our students do. So education, Twitter hashtags. Very first link here, I click on that, and what do I get? I get a very long list, and the one thing this list isn't great, but it's the first one that comes up. It lists numerous different education hashtags. The one thing it doesn't do, I was going to mention, it doesn't explain what they are. So some of them are pretty self-explanatory, or they do explain them real quick in parentheses, like CP Chat is Connected Principles, which is a Connected Principal blog. You can figure out some of them, SCI Chat, I'm guessing, is science teachers, SPED Chat, special education, SM, social media chat, but there are ones, some that might not be as apparent, that you might have to kind of look into a little bit. Again, if you look at the Google results here, your favorite education, 28 hashtags, a number of different sites, just simply going to Google where you can find information on hashtags. So I think I wanted to keep this pretty short. That is a number of different ways to get you started. I think before you know it, if you do get started, you'll realize this is pretty addictive, but the great thing about it is you can walk away from it for weeks at a time if you want to. It's always going to be there. So it's not something you have to feel like you have to go to a couple of times a day. But I tend to think people, the more they get involved with it, the more often they do check it, because it's, again, a constant stream of really great information that's out there. And you can see, again, we have another result for our EdChat. And there's more and more information all the time being shared on it. If you're interested in, again, this idea of expanding your personal learning network, I think Twitter's, again, a great way to get started. But some of the other things that I highly recommend is social bookmarking through Digo, which is another tutorial that I'm going to put up soon, and an RSS reader if you're not already doing that, following some blogs and different information online. And also, things like Google Plus and other forms of social media are always coming out as ways to expand that network. Or you can really keep it as simple as just opening this Twitter account and just start kind of gathering the information and sharing. So again, if you're interested in more, I encourage you to kind of just jump in and get involved. Certainly you can ask me any questions you want. There's a number of other teachers and administrators here that are involved that you've probably seen or heard them talk about Twitter. So please kind of ask them, talk about it, and enjoy.